how I'm working on my self-worth. It's an ongoing process, but here's kind of what I've gone through and the steps to get there and where I am right now. Stay tuned until the end for a tarot pick a card reading. In the past, I've really struggled with my lack of worth. I have been really a bad people pleaser. I have, let people walk all over me. I have not set boundaries. I have not spoken up to say how I feel. And most of the part is due to childhood and kind of being raised in a certain environment and yada, yada, yada. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole. But basically, I was always taught to keep the peace by not speaking my truth, not saying how I feel, not to upset anyone, to just make people happy, and even if that meant sacrificing my own happiness and my own voice as well. And so it's taken me a long time to get here and to really use my voice. And I feel like I'm still in the process of learning to use my voice and saying how I feel and setting boundaries, and to not be a people pleaser, to not care if people don't like me or don't like what I have to say, to just be like, well, cool. But it's taken me a lot to get there. A lot. And I find that my lack of worth shows up in two spots: relationships and career choices as well. So I'd say with relationships, I've definitely been in relationships where I was never really in love with that person. They were a very kind person. They treated me well. We had a good time. We were really good friends. But ultimately, I did not love them. And so I stayed in that relationship longer than I probably should have, because I just knew that it wasn't working. But that wouldn't be my worst relationship, I guess. I also was in a pretty toxic, narcissistic, codependent relationship, me being the codependent one, them being the narcissistic one, and just things in that relationship popping up and me not saying anything, me not speaking my mind, me not even knowing what I want. Like, clearly this was not the person I wanted, and we were completely different on many aspects, as well as it was just a really bad, toxic relationship. But I never spoke up. I never said how I felt. I never put a boundary. I never, for example, when they said, like, I should stop wearing makeup, or how much does makeup cost you, like, a month? Like, why are you spending so much money on this crap? I should have said, because I like it. But I said nothing, for example. And that also ties into my friendships as well. I think I've gotten really lucky with friendships in the past, but more recently I have attracted a kind of me, again, codependent on this person, that if given a different situation, I don't think we would have been friends, but it became very toxic and one-sided and just not good. But I ended up starting to set boundaries with this person after taking some steps to my self-worth journey. And they did not like hearing no. They did not like hearing me express myself, because for the past 2 years I had been a little angel and don't upset the peace and all these things. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just started saying no. I'm tired, I want to go home, or no, I don't want to go to that thing with you, or saying, like, I'm mad that you invited someone to an event I invited you to, so now I'm the third wheel. This is awful. And they did not like me saying how I felt. They were like, well, just don't be mad. We're here all having a good time. I'm like, no, I'm mad. I'm allowed to be mad. This is a very frustrating situation. And I feel like you're just using me because you want to invite your dude with us without telling me until, like, we're 10 minutes away. So, no. Another way I've kind of self-sabotage myself or my self-worth is I've really downplayed my belief in my skills in a work environment. I've even dumbed down a resume just so I could get a job because I didn't feel like I was worthy of anything. And I was in a desperate situation and I just needed something. And then ultimately that job was horrible because I had dumbed down my resume just so I could get a job because I felt I didn't have trust, I didn't have faith that like I could actually make something work. So there's that. But it's been a long, hard journey to get to this place where I don't even feel comfortable setting boundaries yet. I don't feel good not people pleasing. I don't feel good expressing how I feel, but I'm taking baby steps to get there. And I think that's a really important thing. And I've also started noticing when something doesn't sit right or doesn't feel good, and I've started to notice those things. And so noticing is the best step to fixing or to speaking up, at least for myself. Those are my struggles. But how did I start on this worth journey? Because where do you even start? I think it's different for everyone. I think the right tools and materials will come to you at the right time that you need them. For me, I had left that narcissistic relationship and was in a shaken state, if you will. So I first started with therapy, regular therapy, and EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. I can never say it. I don't really know if that did anything, but I think it was a good catalyst to chipping away at this stuck self-worth issue, if you will. And then the second thing I did was I had a really interesting hypnotherapy session, which was based on going back into your childhood traumas and assessing 3 different ages and what is happening in those memories, if you will, and how did they affect me consciously or subconsciously. For example, one of them, I was a baby on a changing table and I was screaming and screaming and screaming for someone to come get me and help me, and no one arrived. Now, as a baby, that's traumatic, but as an adult, I'm like, how does that really have to do with anything? But it's not about how we as an adult think and feel, it's how we as that infant or child at that specific age felt about that specific event, big or small, seemingly. With this hypnotherapy, I then also got a 5 or 6 minute recording to listen to every day that kind of re-ingrained the subconscious patterns of my brain and myself. And I did that for 30 days, listened to this recording. I did not notice anything right away, but I did notice that little things started to click over. For example, like in the first year, I noticed that hearing people argue didn't trigger me as much. Like every time I didn't even realize I did this, but every time I would hear people argue, regardless of gender, it would subconsciously put me in a state of fear and protection and what do I need to do to make this situation safe. And I guess the most interesting thing about the hypnotherapy is it's had a ripple effect. So I got it done in 2019, and I feel like every year it has deepened my subconscious patterns. It has rewired my subconscious patterns that I had for 31, 32 years. It has rewired them in the past couple of years. And so it's just a slow repatterning that I've noticed. It just keeps on going, which it will for the rest of my life, which is amazing. I recommend it if you feel called. It is a great technique. It worked for me. I don't know if it will work for everyone. Again, you'll find your own techniques and what works for you, and it will come to you at the right time. So just stay open to trying things. I really do think hitting a rock bottom has helped me really shake up my belief system and to really look at myself and to believe in myself and see what I can accomplish from starting over from scratch. Like, I lost everything and started over from scratch, completely in a new place with no job, no money to my name, and struggled for a while. But I don't really want to go down in that rabbit hole, because I think everyone eventually hits a rock bottom, but it was my rock bottom to shake up my self-worth, and I feel like I'm still kind of crawling out of that rock bottom, if you will. But every year it gets a little bit better, it gets a little bit easier. I feel like I'm a little bit more back on track with my life and where I want to go and what my purpose is and what I'm doing here. Who am I? Another big thing, number 3, would be me realizing my codependent behaviors and just working on that, really looking at myself, really assessing that kind of shadow side of myself. Like, why do I feel like this need to always have and to be and to connect, and like there's this lack of trust there. So that was a really big thing, and I'm still working through that. I'm still trying to figure out how to piece that together, and ultimately it comes down to the next relationship I get into, friendship, romantic, whatever it is, like really making sure that I'm chipping away at that codependency and being able to see it for what it is and really work through that. So that's up next. Number 4, being okay by myself. Being alone, that sounds so alone. Just really sitting with myself and getting to know myself again through big changes, like endings of relationships or friendships or jobs, to really get to know myself again and work through that transition of who I am now. And number 5 would be shadow work. Now, specifically for me, my shadow work entailed this book. Recommended to me by someone I got an angel reading done. Again, this book sat on my shelf for 2.5 years, and then I finally read it and my mind was blown. Not saying that this is the book that you need. Unless you feel called, then I recommend it. But shadow work is the deepest way to kind of uncover, just like that hypnotherapy session. It really dug up some uncomfortable stuff. And so I went into this book thinking, oh, it'll help me work on my self-worth. It kind of dug up. I didn't realize that I had a small bit of kleptomania, which was a shock. So it really dug up some uncomfortable things, just like the hypnotherapy on a weird subconscious level. It really helped integrate some things. So shadow work is a really important step to digging up that uncomfortable stuff, really seeing who you are, like the good and the bad, if you will, and really understanding why you do the things that you do, why you feel the way that you do, why do you people please, why do you have lack of self-worth, where does it come from? It's so important. And so now, obviously, I'm still on the journey of finding my self-worth. It's taking time to really dig up this old wound, if you will, toxic pattern, if you will. And so, yeah, I'm on the journey just as much as you, and I wanted to kind of make this video to just share what I've learned so far in the process, and that it is an ongoing process, and I hope that you find exactly what you need and who you are and your self-worth, just like I am working on. All right, let's get started with group 1, 2, 3. Timestamps are listed down below, so you can fast forward to your pile group, and I'll see you at your reading. Bye. All right, group 1, if you chose this stone, this is your reading for your self-worth. All right, we have the 2 of Cups, beep, beep, beep. 2 of Cups, 10 of Swords, and the Empress. Whoop, hit the mic. These cards are here. Oh, who you have in your life, especially relationships, does not define who you are. I feel like you put a lot of pressure on this expectation, this Disney fairy tale that you have to find the one in order for you to live your life, to have nice things, to feel fulfilled, to be you. There's this pressure that you feel like you aren't whole because you don't have your other half is bullcrap. Not true. Ultimately, you should probably be working on yourself and filling up your cup, and then let someone add to your life. It's not their responsibility to come in and fix things and make you feel whole, and that's a lot of pressure for one person, when to do it for yourself is enough work, that adding it to someone else's roster to you need to make me feel good too, that's a big pressure. But yeah, so this is all about finding your sense of worth without a relationship or a title attached to it. More so relationship. Here you are, living your life, you don't have to do anything. You just are. You just are inherently worthy of everything that you desire and you wish and you want to create. But there is this little bit of a codependency, perhaps, that a fairy tale kind of story that you think that you need someone or something to complete you in order for you to feel this, but you already have this, and it could be good for you to go within and really focus on this energy and stop worrying about this energy. Maybe you're someone that watches multiple love tarot readings, and even though they're really entertaining and they're really fun, if you find yourself watching them over and over and over again, it's a bit toxic. And I only say that because I've done it. It's the only reason I say it. I've done it too. And hence why I don't really like making love readings that often, once in a while. But ultimately, it doesn't complete you. It seems like it checks the box of what you need to be next or have next, but ultimately it's a bonus. It should be a bonus. It should be treated like a bonus, and not so this conquest that you have to have. And so focus more on this, your bright shining star, as you, and as you want to embody, regardless of gender. Everyone needs to find who they are within, or it's just going to be a unbalanced relationship. So that's what the focus is for you, is just being there for yourself. I'm not saying that you have to do it alone, not at all, but there needs to be a balance of who you are and who you are in relationships, friendships as well. There needs to be a consistency. If you change who you are in relationships, maybe not a good sign. So, something to think about. Group 1, that's all I have for you. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye. Group 2, if you chose this stone, this is your reading. Let's see what we have. All right. We have the 8 of Cups. 4 of Wands, and the 10 of Cups. I feel like you're on the journey of isolation, but not so literally isolation, but you're on a conquest to not only fill your own cup, but fill others, or find the partner that's going to fill your cup, and not in a codependent way, but in a really beautiful way, if you will. There is this, I feel like there's like a need to like lose things in order to realize what you had, or what you lost, or what you gave. Perhaps you had to lose or be broken up with, or lose a friendship, or something in that regard. Something had to end in order for you to realize this pattern, or this truth, or what have you. But there's this ultimately, you're on a really beautiful journey to finding what lights you up. I don't even think this is so much about relationships. I think it's all about you taking the steps that you need in order for you to be fulfilled in your own life. To the 10 of Cups is over here, backwards. But yeah, there's this ultimate need for you to journey alone, have a hermit moment, to really find what makes yourself tick, what fills your heart with joy and love and happiness, and to make this journey. That's what I'm seeing. And you're really working on this already. You're already putting in the work, but ultimately you're going to end up at a really beautiful spot because you have the 10 of Cups here. So ultimately this journey is maybe long and lonely, but ultimately you'll be rewarded by sacrificing and being alone and going within so that you can get your 10 of Cups. I know that doesn't really sound like you want to hear that, but yeah, you're definitely going in an introspective kind of mode to find your true self, to find who you want as a partner, who you are as a partner, and like what your wants and needs are. You're really allowing that space and time to unfold. Maybe at this time you're traveling a lot more by yourself, which I highly recommend, even internationally. Like traveling by yourself internationally is a wake-up call. Well, let me tell you. Even if it's like a warm, open, friendly country, if you will, it's still a wake-up call. But I feel like you're really in this growth state of finding your core beliefs, your core values, who you are deep down inside. And I think ultimately you will get there. I think it's going to be a journey. And I think there's some happiness in between. You got the 4 of Wands, so there's some happiness coming sprinkled in there. It's not going to be all work. There'll be a little bit of play. But yeah, that's all I have for you, Group 2. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye. Okay, Group 3, if you chose this stone, this is your reading. Okay, let's see what we have here. Oh, we got 4. Okay. We have the World. We have 4 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and 6 of Wands. I feel like your worth issues stem from feeling like you need a title or a job or some kind of success. Perhaps it's pressure from your parents, from yourself, from the world at large, that like there's this pressure that someone puts on you, you put on you, your parents put on you subconsciously, consciously, that you have to struggle. You have to struggle and burn yourself out and work really hard, and nothing will come easily, and you have to work hard for your career, for your money, for your love, for your wellness, for your health, all those things, because they won't just come so easily. But there's also this pressure that you have to be so big, so fanciful, so successful. You have to, like, you're the one in the family that graduated college. Now you're the one in the family that has to be the billionaire. Now you're the one in the family that has to have the successful job. You have to be the doctor. You have to be the lawyer. You have to be the actor. But also you, like, aren't allowed to make mistakes, you know? Whew. So there's so much pressure on you to be perfect, to have it all, to be the it person, you know? The one that the family looks up to because no one else could do it. But that's unfair. Because ultimately your worth doesn't come from your titles, your career, car you drive, how much money you have. It's not that. And blood, sweat, and tears, yes, will get you to here eventually. But are you really living? Are you really enjoying life? Are you really being present? Are you really following what you want to do? Or are you just following someone else's dreams? What do you want? Who are you? I guess the best way to explain self-worth is if you stripped away everything. Your clothes, your car, your house, your friends, your family. Everything is gone. Everything is gone. Your hair is gone. Whatever. Who are you at your core? What do you want at your core? That's the more important thing. Not living your life for someone else's dreams. Like, you need to be having your own dreams, and I think you do have your own dreams, but I think a lot of times you put them on the back burner because you're like, well, I need to be a successful doctor before I can be a painter. Or whatever, or vice versa. Maybe your parents are hippies and they're really pushing you to be an artist and they don't want you to be a doctor. Can totally flip-flop the other way. There needs to be a restructure in who you are and what you believe in for yourself. I feel like there's a lot of outside influence coming to, like, tell you what you need to do. But what do you want? Who are you at your core? That's kind of the journey you're on and trying to figure out your self-worth. Group 3. That's all I have for you. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye.